Hey everyone, I'm Shantel, and it really has been great to see more and more of you as you've been able to hang out more and more often this summer. If you haven't been able to make it to an event just yet, we still have some events for this summertime, so please write them down, put them in your calendar, put a reminder in your phone if you need to. Write it on a post-it note and stick it to your mirror so you remember, and invite a friend. We would love to see all of you there. I know that I would, your friends would, the youth team would, so take note of those things because we've been having a great time just spending time with one another outside. So each week we've been asking you different questions. We started off our summer asking the question, what is our hope for the summer? Some of you mentioned seeing friends. Maybe it's hoping that you can go back to school in the fall. Maybe for you it's potentially playing a fall sport, getting your license, getting a car. The list can go on and on. We've even asked questions like, what is your hope for your relationships, and challenging ourselves to be the friend that we want to have. We've even asked questions like, what miracles are you hoping for this summer, and remembering to write those things down so we can talk about it later in the fall once summer has passed. And the question that I want to ask you today is this: what is your hope for your faith journey? Keeping that in mind, we're going to be jumping into one of the Gospels. So the first 4 books of the New Testament in the Bible are the Gospels. And so these books of the Bible, what they basically do is have a record of these eyewitness accounts of the life of Jesus while he was here on earth. So you can read a lot about his miracles, you can read a lot about the work that he's done here, and some of the stories of his disciples who've learned from him, and just seeing their faith grow throughout time. And you can just read a lot about Jesus during this time and get to know who he was and who he is. And so what we're going to be doing today is jumping into one of those Gospels. We're going to be in the book of Mark. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this, but keeping in mind that question: what is your hope for your faith journey this summer? And let's jump into it. It's a good story. If you haven't heard it before, you definitely want to tune in because it's really good. So starting in verse 35. As evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's cross to the other side of the lake." So they took Jesus in the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. So as you can imagine, if you were in the boat during this time, it definitely would have been scary. You probably would have been afraid of drowning or the boat like capsizing. There were so many things that probably would have been going on in your head if you were in this situation. And I can't imagine what the disciples were thinking either. So then we're going to keep going on. But Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. So as you can imagine, right, freaking out, and then you're like, bro, I need to go find Jesus. And then he's sleeping with his head on a cushion. So then the disciples woke him up shouting, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" But when Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, and be still." Suddenly the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The disciples were absolutely terrified. "Who is this man?" they asked each other. "Even the wind and the waves obey him." So, as you can imagine, it must have been a really crazy experience to see this happen before your eyes. And what I want to do today is zero in on the disciples' response when this storm was happening. They said, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" And how many of us find us in situations when bad things happen, or maybe we're confused about a situation and we ask, "God, where are you? God, are you even working in this situation? God, do you even see me? God, do you hear my prayers? I've been praying again and again and again each night, and I've been trying to learn more about you, God, but I don't even understand what you're doing right now. Don't you care about me and my situation?" But in things like that, it's an opportunity for us to grow our faith, to take steps in our faith journey by bringing it to God and saying, "God, I'm going to release this to you. God, I'm going to tell you about this situation and ask for you to intervene in my life," and see what comes about that. And so again, I want to ask you that question one more time. What is your hope for your faith journey this summertime? Keeping in mind this story, because I think a lot of us go through this, but we all take steps in our faith journey every day. So ask yourselves, that question. What is my hope for my faith journey this summertime? See ya.